Hi guys, Tracy here with my completed December documented album. This album was created using almost entirely items from the Hip Kit December documented kit. And so the album was also available at the Hip Kit Club this year. And I really love this gold album. It's my favorite thing for the whole season is this gold album. I adore it. And I made the nameplate for this album out of my favorite pattern paper that came in the kit, and then some letter stickers from my stash. And most of the process of making this album is on my channel, so you can check out some of my recent videos, and I will also create a playlist so that if you'd like to see all of the videos that I have on YouTube for the making of this album, you can just check out the playlist. I'll link it right here in a little card. And so here is my title page. It says maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more, and then I put the date 2017. And this was a quote from The Grinch That Stole Christmas, and it really was speaking to me as I started this project. I wanted to think about the different meanings of Christmas and what it really meant to me. And of course, this line in the story is preceded by a statement about Christmas not coming from a store. And so this was not only about, you know, Christmas not being materialistic and about presents and all of the superficial aspects of Christmas, but it was also about, you know, finding Christmas in my own family and deciding what it was for us. So that's my title page. And then this is really just a filler page. I really loved this pattern and I really loved this journaling card, so I just put the journaling card on the paper, and this strip at the bottom was just the manufacturer's strip that came with this paper. Then I did the first of a couple of these pages that use this 2x2 square page protector, and I found this, when I made this page, I found it not very enjoyable. It was just a little bit fiddly. These squares are really tiny and it's hard to fit the things that you want on them, but it is a really nice way to document lots of photos, and I really love the outcome of it so much that I did it again a couple of more times in my album, and I ended up really coming to love the process. And so that, I guess there's a lesson there about sticking with something and maybe giving it more of a try, because by the time I did the last one, I was really loving it, and I would totally do these again in another similar sized album. So this one was about my husband's work party. And so there's a picture of the restaurant we went to, a picture of the menu, and then a selfie of me and a selfie of the two of us at the restaurant. And I just put some of these embellishments are on the outside of the pocket, so this, and I think, yeah, the number 3 is also on the outside of the pockets, but everything else is on the inside. And this was written from the letter stickers that came with the kit, and then these are from my stash, and then that's just my own handwriting. And I put these filler I guess kind of like filler cards. I just cut them out of a piece of the pattern paper that came in the kit, and I just really like this pattern paper a lot, so I wanted to just leave it pretty much plain. And I also used some stickers from the kit here and here, and a roller date stamp. In order to give this album a cohesive feel, I have repeated a couple of elements. One is the use of roller date stamps and these gold numbers that came in the kit. And then I also tried to use a lot of the same letter stickers when I was pulling letter stickers from my stash. I tried to use the same ones as much as I could. I was running out of letters at the end, so I had to pull in some new letter sticker sets, but I tried to make them look as pulled together as possible. And that is one of the benefits of working with a kit, is that you don't really have to try very hard to have a cohesive looking album, because all of these products were designed and picked out specifically to coordinate with one another. So it was just a matter of putting it all together, and then I just made sure that I repeated this number element on any of the pages that required a date. So some of the pages were not very date specific, so for those ones I didn't put a number. The other thing that's unique about my album is that it is not in chronological order, and that was just a personal decision that I made that made the process of scrapbooking it much, much more enjoyable. I didn't have to figure out what kind of page protector would be on the back of this, and how I was going to, you know, plan out how the days would line up and what I would do with gaps in my days or anything like that. I just randomly scrapped all of the memories that I had and the stories that I wanted to tell for 2017, the holiday season. And they just went where they went in my album. And it's only once I got to the 28th that it becomes more in chronological order, because that is sort of like the most important part of the holiday, is that time between the 28th and the 1st of January. That's when we do most of, when the preparations are pretty much over and we do most of our just kind of like gliding through the holidays and visiting lots of people and celebrating. So the Apple holiday party took place on the 3rd. The back side of that, all that I did was I went online and I found album art for all of my favorite albums and songs for the holidays, and I just cut them into I printed them up at 2x2, cut them into 2-inch squares, and just stuck them into the pockets. And one of the pockets was already taken up with this sequin pocket, which I used my fuse tool to close. And then the other remains, so I put 10 albums or album arts and song arts, and then that left me with these two. This one was already filled with sequins from the other side, and then I just put a title here that says songs using the pattern paper from the kit, and then some letter stickers from my stash. Then this next thing is just an insert from my stash. This is a piece of acetate. I think it's from Allison Kreft. And then this is the Joy acrylic piece from last year's December documented kit from the Hip Kit Club. I didn't use very much of that kit, so I had lots and lots of leftovers. So I just wanted to put this Joy filler card in here. I just think it adds a little touch of beauty and makes the album a little bit more, I guess, sort of interactive. Like I like the idea of kind of flipping through these pages to reveal, like you can kind of see peeks of what's to come through the pattern, and then you just kind of like reveal it by flipping that filler card over. This one was all about my birthday, so it has the number 13 there. So you can see how I went from the 3rd to the 13th, and now the next page is random ones that don't have dates, but the next date here is the 16th of the Ugly Sweater Party. So as you can see, well, actually so far it is in order, but it isn't going to stay in order. So this is my birthday, and I did a whole single-sided spread on it. So I had 3 photos to scrap, and I added a filler card here. And these are all cards and pattern papers and cut aparts and die cuts that came in the kit. And this is one of the paper bags that came in the kit, this tree pattern right here. So it's a very thin piece of pattern paper. Another thing that I did to add a cohesive flow through my album is I used the same scribbly outlining method on all of the pages. It shows up somewhere on all of the pages, and I really like how that emphasizes the photos, and it also gives it a real relaxed, casual look instead of looking too formal. Here's the next page. I just scrapbooked this pineapple beer because I love pineapples. I love pineapples as a food, but I also really love just the look of a pineapple as well. So I scrapbooked that, and that's one of the benefits of doing one of these daily or almost daily, mine is not daily at all, but one of these daily-ish type of projects in the holidays is that you get to capture some of these smaller moments that might not have made it to a more formal scrapbook. This one, it was a story that I didn't have a photo for, so I just added the journaling right there. And it took place in the neighborhood, so I chose that card right there. And this is a Becky Higgins grid card that I just used to put my journaling on and outlined it. A picture of our advent calendars, and then as we were unpacking our Christmas supplies, I found this, which was the stocking holder for our international student last year. It made me really sad to open it and know that he wasn't going to be with us this year, so I just documented that with a little label right there for my stash as well. Now, this pocket was something that I wanted to include early on, and I poked the holes, I punched the holes in it and inserted it, and I had this photo from one of my friends on the back of it, which I journaled and added a couple of stickers, well, I guess just one sticker to it, and then I also outlined around it to make it look pulled into the rest of the project. But this envelope was empty for a good part of my scrapbooking process, and it wasn't until later in the process that I realized that this would become a really great home for some of my extra journaling. So I put a little label on it that says journaling inside this pocket, and I went with a fairly minimalist look for this page, which really stands out amongst the other pages that are quite cluttered and scribbly and messy in many ways. And then you have this, which I think it symbolizes the idea of, it kind of emphasizes the idea that amongst this cluttered project, it's kind of symbolizes the holidays. You've got lots and lots going on, lots to look at. And then taking a moment to have some breathing space and just a moment to just kind of rest your eyes on this more minimalist page. And then inside the page are my journaling cards that tell some more in-depth or thoughtful stories. So I have this card here, which is about how I kind of joined the family. Although when it first happened, there was no way of anybody knowing that I would stick around, but I did. They can't get rid of me that easily. So this is just journaling about my family, and there is a process video that includes this, so I'm not going to read all of my journaling here, but if you missed the process video and just want to read it, you can feel free to press pause here and then press pause here and just have a look at what I wrote. It's basically about the idea is that my best Christmas present that I ever received is this family. So that's that. And then I did some journaling about the fact that I didn't cook a turkey this year, which is the first year ever that I haven't cooked a turkey. I do enjoy making a big turkey dinner as well as eating a big turkey dinner. And we did eat one. We had turkey at Scott's parents' house on Christmas Eve. Then this one is about how I kind of rediscovered my love of Christmas baking this year after not doing any Christmas baking for quite a long time. So that's what that one was about. And I just left an empty journaling card here just in case someday when I'm flipping through this, I think, oh, wasn't that the year that blah, blah, blah happened? I can just add a little story there if I want, or maybe a family member might be flipping through this and wanted to kind of write down a few words from their perspective. So put that back in there. And so there's that. And then this was another little addition that I added after I had already journaled about the ugly sweater party. I realized that I had a little bit more to say about it, so I just added this piece of acetate and a little tag from my stash, and I did the journaling right there, added some twine, and just added a couple of stickers here just to embellish it a little bit. On the back side, I just embellished it with stickers from the kit. And so that's just a little addition to the story that's told on these 4 cards. So I have a title card here, I have a photo of us, I have a piece of ephemera from the party, which is this napkin, and then I have my journaling right here. And this spread was my very first spread that I made in this album. I chose this because I thought it would be the most fun to scrapbook, and I wanted this project to not feel too overwhelming or burdensome to me. Is burdensome a word? Anyhow, I'm making it into a word right now. And so this was really fun. I was really mindful for this page about making sure that there was some blue and red and green on every single one of these cards, and for this one it's mostly in the photo. Then the next page is this 2-page spread about the Christmas tree. So I've got a filler card here, which was one of my very favorite filler cards. I adore these trees. And then a picture of my daughter putting the angel on the top of the tree. We have an ongoing family tradition where the girls take turns putting the angel on the top of the tree, and it was Liv's turn this time. This really cute wood veneer and then this journaling card were both part of the kit. So I thought that they made a great pairing for scrapbooking this photo. and did some journaling right there. On this is a label that was actually part of the card. Then I layered a die cut with my photo here of the cat laying down under the tree, and then a picture of the tree with the presents under it on Christmas Eve. It says waiting for Santa and oh Christmas tree. So then on the next side of this same spread that's going with the theme of the Christmas tree, it says cool Yule. I just really loved this card, so I wanted to use it just as it was. And then my daughter looking into the tree and making a funny face, and it just says festive fun. And again, this is a page that is a little bit more quiet and less cluttered compared to some of the pages before it and after it. And I like that these kinds of, I almost think of this as a respite from the album. There's a lot to take in this album. And then I put in this 4x6 photo that's very casual. It's a candid photo. Nobody knew I was taking it of, and Sophie's actually not here, but it's more about our living room. Our space has changed. We've kind of really changed the way that our layout is between our living room and the room in between, and then our kitchen, so that it's basically one big room now. And we also put our Christmas tree in a different place. We have a new couch, we have new chairs, we have new lights, and this is also a new chair right here that you can see the edge of. Still have our old coffee table, but that's on its way out. So I just wanted to kind of capture that our space is evolving and changing, and this year our space is certainly significantly different than it has been in other years, and I just documented that there on these layered labels, added that 5 gold sticker to fit with my consistency throughout the album. Now this next page is 3 separate memories. So we have a card about my daughter's involvement with her friends and social media. So it says this is about her party at the youth group that she goes to, and then this was another party that she went to, and I put the date on this one. I didn't put the date on this one. I don't think it really matters. It's just parties that she went to. And then this says Snapchat Joy, and it's just, I wish that I had a picture that included Liv in it, but I wanted to say that she was there, so that's why I didn't crop that out. I think that that photo would look better like this, but I didn't want to crop her out and make it look like she wasn't even there. So I had a couple of pictures of her and I, a couple of pictures of those two, and a couple of pictures of us two, but none of the 3 of us. And the ones of her are kind of like, they're not very festive, so I didn't want to include them. This was on December 1st, so I put the little 1 there, and that's a perfect example of how the album is not in chronological order. So December 1st is right here. These 2 cards, I used the same background paper because, and this is from the 2016 December documented kit, I use the same paper here because this is one story. Another thing that I sometimes do to signify one story is I'll outline them as a single piece, even though they're 2 pockets, but I didn't do that here. I felt like this paper was bold enough that it was visually obvious that these 2 go together. And so this is my work party, and this was scrapped really quite simply. I just basically adhered the photos and added 3 embellishments and a list right here of some of my favorite things, because the die cut says a few of my favorite things. And if you want more detail about why I did some of the things I did and some of the stories that I'm telling in this album, please check out my playlist with the process videos, because I do talk a lot about why I chose to document what I documented in those as well. And I might forget to say some of that along the way of this walkthrough. So this is another example of a very small story that I probably would not have documented if it weren't for this project. So I ran out of tape as I was wrapping, and I searched the house high and low, and I was saying, oh great, the store is closed, it's late at night, I don't want to go traipsing out to the 24-hour store that's way across town. And then I found some Scotch tape, and it was kind of like that moment when you run out of Scotch tape when the stores are closed. So you run all over the house looking for more, and you find it. These kinds of moments are exactly what I wanted to capture in this album, because this holiday was filled with these coincidental good luck type of moments, and I really wanted to capture it because last year was really not like that. So this is a real contrast to last year. And you know, like, luck is luck, like it's just dumb luck. Like, there's nothing that I did to make this holiday better than any other holiday, although I do think that your attitude and how you think about the holidays does have a lot of impact on how you experience it. But there's also just a lot of luck involved as well. So I don't want to make it seem like that's too important or significant, but it was a refreshing change. Then I have a, oh, this card is about Liv babysitting this holiday season. So she was babysitting her sister, not really babysitting, but we call it Sophie sitting. Sophie is actually, she's taken the Home Alone course, and she does stay home alone for small periods of time, but we are trusting the two of them home alone. We have a couple of different backups in place that we can rely on if things go badly when they're home alone, and we don't typically go too far. So that's what that card is all about. And it was really just journaling on, this is one of the paper bags that came with the kit. This is a Becky Higgins card that I cut down so it didn't have rounded corners, and then two puffy stickers that came from the kit. Now this next page is a page where I used one of those craft paper bags that came in the kit, and I actually cut it in half so that I put one half of it on this side of this, and the whole thing is on an acetate, on a piece of acetate. So I put one side of the paper bag on this side, and then the back side on the other side, so that it basically looks like the paper bag is on both sides of the acetate. It's on both sides of the acetate. And that allowed me to use that, both sides of that paper bag for, and kind of emphasize the fact that this is the use of an acetate and that you can see both sides of this page. So here I just scrapbooked Liv's acro recital. And acro is kind of like a tumbling class. It's put on by a dance school nearby. So there's the use of those letter stickers, those number stickers again. And this was just a photo strip that I printed, and these came out as they were on the photo, and then this one was an extra one, so I had to glue it on. And I used the letter stickers that came in the kit, and then letter stickers from my stash, and then embellishments from the kit as well. On the back side, so both sides of this are sort of tribute to my kids' activities. So Liv had her acro recital, and then Sophie had multiple choirs. And so I put, the title of this one is Hear the Choir Sing, and I added, this is a Kelly Perky, like the little label that comes on the back of the Kelly Perky envelope that the kit comes in, and I added a 2 because this particular choir performance was on December 2nd, and just clustered some embellishments that came in the kit here along with a roller date stamp. And then my journaling just talks about how Sophie was involved in actually quite a few choir performances this holiday season. Now I have my second 2x2 square page, and this one is a tribute to our elves, Alvin and Orion. So I have a little title here, and one thing that made these squares more enjoyable was that I had basically 3 of these fillers that were just acetate, which gives you a little peekaboo of what's to come. And I love the little hearts. It's a really great use of acetate. I love using acetate in pocket pages. I have a title here that took up one, and then all of the photos, I just left them plain. I didn't do any embellishing at all on the photos, and that again made it a little bit more enjoyable. All I had to really embellish were these 4 squares right here, which makes it easier to do. So basically, as I was going, I was looking at which stories I had to tell and what photos I had. And whenever I had a bunch of photos, then that would be a contender for one of these pocket pages, because it's just conducive to using these tiny squares, and it's easier to tell a big story with a whole bunch of photos and then just filling in some journaling around it. And it also kind of gives your book a little bit more variety by adding in these interesting pages in between the more, you know, regular pocket pages. So I had lots of photos of us baking, and as I alluded to in one of the journaling cards that I was baking more, so we have the kids making these gingerbread cookies and decorating them. There they are decorated. We have peanut butter balls, and this is Liv right here making the peanut butter balls in a picture of our living room. We made these peanut butter mice, and we also decorated other cookies, and there was other baking that I just didn't take pictures of as well. And this is a wood veneer from the kit that I just put on the outside of the page just to really minimalize the embellishments. I find that these pages are pretty busy with all the squares, and so they don't need a whole lot. Then this is another one of those little envelopes or baggies that came with the kit. And I love that these baggies are actually lined with a plasticky coating that allows you, I guess, to put baked items in it, but it also makes the holes that you punch quite a bit stronger. Like, I don't think they're going to be as likely to tear because of the plastic coating. So I just use this as a paper, like as a page in my book. It's not an envelope. It doesn't have anything inside. But I wanted to give this photo its own little page because it's a special one. And so I did some journaling right on the photo and double matted it on this really beautiful paper bag. And then on the flip side, I just really love this card. So I treated it the same as I treated the photo with the double matting and just left it as it was. Now, this is a page all about how warm the weather was. And yes, +4 is pretty warm for us for December, but also you can see that these days were quite warm. It was 4, 13, 6, 6, 3, 4, and 5. So it wasn't just a one-off. It's not that uncommon for us to have a day or two of these warm temperatures in December, but most of December was up like this. And the week before, I didn't take a screenshot of it, but the week before the weather was 18, 19 degrees for a couple of days there. So this is exceptional weather for us. So this is what kind of winter weather is this? And these are letters that came in the kit, and then these are letters from my stash. They're from Basic Gray. Then this is another one of my daughter's social media stories, and so I just did a bit of journaling about how important friendships are to her right now and added some embellishments from the kit. And this is on a Kelly Perky card because at this point I was running out of cards and paper. Now, these are cards from the kit, and I really love this page. This December 24th is probably my favorite page. It is a 2-page spread that covers the 24th. So it starts here with Christmas Eve. I tried to have a little bit of green, a little bit of red, and a little bit of blue on each of the cards. And so this has, I chose this pleather sticker, and all the pleather stickers that show up in this album, they actually come from the Christmas scrapbooking kit, not from the December documented kit, but it is from a hip kit. So this card just said December 24th. I embellished it with this pleather sticker because we went down to New Glasgow, and I thought that this had a little towny type of feel to it. This is a picture of the sky just that morning, just to show that the leaves aren't even fully off the trees yet. It's December. There's certainly no snow on those trees. And then I just documented that we decided to spend Christmas Eve in New Glasgow, which was really different for us. Then this card says eat, drink, and be merry. I did some journaling around it, added this embellishment. And this is one of the benefits of using one of these pages that has 2 4x6 pockets instead of 4 3x4 pockets, is that you can actually embellish across the gap and it looks really nice. So this looks like 4 3x4 cards, but it's nice to be able to continue these embellishments across the gap and not have to have them outside of the pocket, although this one is outside of the pocket. Then this side of the page is the same kind of treatment. It's also in 2 4x6 pockets, but I basically, what I do when I do this is I put a little Becky Higgins 4x6 card behind, and then I stick these cards to it so that they don't float around inside of the pocket and overlap each other, and basically it helps them to stay put. And so this was the month card, like the calendar card. It said December 2017, and then this was all the days of the month right here. So I covered it up with this photo, and then I covered up 2017 with Christmas tradition, and this spells out new December 24th tradition. I know it's not exactly right, but you get the meaning. Did some more journaling and embellishing on this one, and this one is mostly journaling. This is a card from the Kelly Perky kit, and a picture, and this is kind of like it documents the food, but also the people are in the background. These are the 3 kids that were present, and so I thought that was a nice photo to include as well. So that's our 24th, and this is where the album becomes more chronological. So the 24th, and then this page here is the 25th. And it has pictures of my girls opening their gifts. So this is a picture of Liv with her main gift, which was some Sephora makeup. And this is a picture of Sophie with her main gift, which was some clothes. And we also got her a gift certificate to get her hair done. And then there they are wearing their sweaters, and I thought I couldn't get them to smile. They were kind of like, oh, do you have to take our picture? So I said, I'm sure they're excited about the sweaters on the inside, because they certainly don't look very excited on the outside. And then those are Sophie's Roots bum pants, which was the only thing she asked for specifically for Christmas. And then these are some photos of the trip that we'll be taking in April, which was a family present to, it was a surprise. Scott and I were planning to hopefully travel to Cuba, but we weren't sure if we could or not. And then I was able to pull it off at the last minute and decided to surprise the whole family. And I talk about this in one of the process videos. Anyhow, this is the little thing that I gave to Scott to say that we were going away and where we're going and who we're going with and the dates. And then inside I gave him basically an envelope filled with pictures of the resort that we're going to be staying at. And these are just like other random people's pictures that I stole from the internet. So they're not my images or anything, but it was just so that the kids could have something exciting to kind of look at and think about. Because, you know, just giving somebody a printout of travel tickets is not that exciting. Especially for our kids who've never been, like we've been to Florida for Disney, but the kids were really, really young. So at their ages, they don't really remember traveling to someplace so exotic. Then I did some journaling here about the big secret I had and how hard it was for me to keep it. And I journaled it on a piece of vellum and just printed it up in my printer. And that I really like how that looks. And then the last couple of pages are just the 25th, the 31st, and the 1st. So on the 25th, we had tapas instead of turkey. And I put these little sequins. These are sequins from my stash, and put them in these pockets and closed it all up with my fuse tool, added a little title card there and the 3 photos from the day, and it's basically just food photos because the kids didn't want me to take their pictures. And then on the 27th, we went to Jen's house for board games, and so I have the title there and some photos and then some journaling right here. And then this is a really casual pocket that I just made, or page, I guess. It's a page that I just made. And I wanted this one to be fairly messy, especially this side. And so this is the 31st and the 1st, and then this is also the 1st. So again, I'm not too fussy about having it be all in proper order. I have these numbers to tell you what day it was, and it doesn't matter to me which day it is, like which order the pages are in. So this last one has a picture. This is a really significant picture. I had a whole bunch to choose from, but I thought that this was the funniest, where there's a family tradition that Scott's grandmother used to have where she would give everybody in the family these paper bag gifts. They're just like little inexpensive gifts that she would collect the whole year long for people specifically. And she'd give you this brown paper bag with your name on it. And it was something that was really, really thoughtful, not expensive, but really, really thoughtful. And she had a real knack for picking perfect, inexpensive gifts and like finding them through the year and keeping them. And then on Christmas Eve or Boxing Day or whatever day we get together after Christmas, she would give them to us, and she would pick somebody to be her Santa Claus. And lately it's been Rob because he looks so much like Santa, but before that it used to be Scott or somebody would help her give out her presents. So anyhow, she passed away a couple of years ago, but Glenna, Scott's mom, has taken on this tradition. And I just did some journaling here about how wonderful it is that they've taken on this tradition of giving these paper bag gifts. And so I thought journaling that on this paper bag was pretty relevant. And I just added a little sticker there that says mistletoe kisses and Christmas wishes, and put the date again with the, because that happened on January 1st. And then on the flip side, we have our New Year's Eve and New Year's Day celebrations, and I did really messy outlining and messy journaling. I outlined my letters to make them stand out a little bit more. It says party hats and cards, and so the journaling just talks about how we played cards and then we went next door to our neighbor's house for their New Year's party, and there were fireworks and it was really fun. And then I did my journaling this way just to show that this is a separate story, separate day, and this is our group picture from New Year's Day. There's a new person in our photo here, Adam, and so I did some journaling about that. And that is my album. It's all done, and I'm so pleased that it's done. And today is January 2nd, and I'm really pleased to have captured all of these memories and had fun doing it. I didn't find it too stressful. I wasn't too worried about getting it done, but yet I got it done in time. And now I can focus on the new year. I have a couple of projects in mind for the new year. I am doing One Little Word, and I'm taking Allie Edwards' class for One Little Word, and I bought her kit. So I'm going to be doing it not so much as a creative scrapbooking task, although there might be some things. I'm thinking about just laying out my One Little Word exactly the way that Allie laid out hers, just so that I don't have to think about designing or making things match or making it look good. It'll look good if I just do it the way that she did it. And then I might add some pages or some of my own things as I go, or I might not, because the whole idea is that I just want to focus on my word, which is wellness. And so I don't want to feel too much pressure. I do want it to look nice, but I don't want to feel too much pressure to make it look nice. And it's going to be something that's I'm going to think of it as a project that's outside of my scrapbooking, although it is sort of scrap related. So I'm not sure how much of it I will share, because the designs won't be my own. Like, it's just, I'm literally planning to copy. I don't have my kit yet, but as soon as I get it, I'm just going to do what she did and put all the cards in the pages of the book, and just each month I'll do the journaling that goes along with it, and I may or may not do a layout. If I do a little layout, I will show you that. And I might do a couple of updates throughout the course of the year. So thanks so much for watching and joining me on my December documented journey this year. And I hope that you all have a really wonderful new year and a scrappy, good January. Take care and have a really great scrappy week.